go through and do the e-learning courses much quicker than that, say in about 4 to 6 weeks. But giving them 3 months gives them time to pick when to start. The advanced training courses, whether e-learning or live, must include real-world examples for all K2, K3, and K4 learning objectives. So, and this means real-world, like real systems. Toy examples about non-systems projects just not allowed, not acceptable in these courses. They have to be real examples. And for the K3s and K4s, they not only have to provide a real-world example, but there has to be a realistic exercise. And to add even more fun to that, more completeness to the course, you have to do the exercise in class, and a solution must be discussed when you do a live instructor-led course. And these are basically requirements for accreditation, and but there can be some variation across the different training providers in terms of how they deliver this stuff and so forth. So you'll want to evaluate this carefully, and you'll also want to evaluate whether live or e-learning is better for you. Some people they don't have a lot of time, but they got a lot of discipline, and they're able to make themselves go through the e-learning courses and so forth. So purely self-paced e-learning works for them. Some people, they don't have a lot of time, and they're kind of a little bit light on the discipline too. So we find that facilitated e-learning works best for them, where there's typically about 4 different facilitation sessions that will occur to help keep people on track and keep them focused. And we do this for a lot of companies that want to use our e-learning for their teams. They buy the e-learning, and then they also get facilitation sessions. And of course, if you have time and you need the structure of a classroom, then obviously a live instructor-led course is another good way to go with this. So there are a lot of different options. And again, as I said, training is not required. So if you are a really, really self-motivated person, then by all means, go ahead and try to self-study for this. There are books out. For example, I've written a book on the Advanced Test Manager and Advanced Test Analyst. So you can, and if you are capable, really should, read those books and maybe include those as part of your training, or just use them as your training. Okay, now assuming that you do want to do a training, just to go through this kind of briefly, how are the hours broken down across the chapters? Well, as you can see, this is kind of what I was discussing before. There's intro, that's common for everybody. There's chapter 1, as you see, that's much more of a test manager focus, very little in test analyst, and there's basically no learning objectives in common, as I recall. Test process, 2 hours, 3 and 3. Commonality, there's commonality in the test analyst and the technical test analyst, but really not so much commonality in terms of what's covered over here. Chapter 3, as you can see, very much focus of the test management and very little to here, and completely the other way around with chapters 4 and 5. Test analyst, technical test analyst are very much focus of that. This really gives you a sense of how the learning objectives break down and the modules are distributed. Chapter 6 is some commonality there, but different learning objectives. Chapter 7, we have here's more commonality. This is more about managing the process. Chapter 8, focused on by the test managers. Chapter 9, this is probably the most overlapping of the chapters of the test analyst, is very much its own beast there, because that's the main focus of it. And then there's a little bit of material, and as I said, the test analyst and technical test analyst on chapter 10, quite a bit in chapter 10 for the advanced test manager. So that really gives you an idea of kind of how the material is broken down, just whether you're going to take a course or not. Understanding the hours breakdown, I think, helps you understand where to focus. And you know, if you're going to self-study, then definitely you might want to refer back to this slide, because this, depending on which exam that you're studying for, you're going to want to self-study based on you know, this kind of weighting, because the exam questions will very much be weighted similarly. Okay, so what are the requirements for an advanced certificate? Well, to earn the certificate, you have to hold the foundation certificate. It has to be issued by an ISTQB recognized exam board or member board. You have to have appropriate experience in software testing or development. It's anywhere from 2 to 5 years. It depends on the degree that's held or the certificate sought. And this is an evolving thing. So the specific years of experience and so forth could change over time, and we're kind of monitoring where we're going with this and what the exam results are and so forth. Maybe we've set the bar too low and need to require a little more experience if we see too many people failing the advanced exam. And there is a code of ethics in the syllabus. I don't want to get into lengthy discussion of what that code of ethics is, but feel free to go out to ISTQB.org and download the syllabus after this presentation, and you can see what's in there in the code of ethics. And you know, it's all pretty much what you would expect. Do right by your employer, do right by the public, do right by yourself, do right by your colleagues, and we would expect that ethical behavior is part of being a professional. Accredited training is recommended, but it is certainly not required. You can, as I said, self-study, and that is one of the things that I really like about the ISTQB program. Now, what does it mean to hold one of these advanced certificates? What should you be able to do? Well, you should be able to, as the advanced test manager level, define overall testing goals and strategy for the systems being tested. So are you going to do risk-based testing? Are you going to do requirements-based testing? What are your metrics for success, and what are your goals? What percentage of defects should you detect? What percentage of requirements or risks should you cover, and how are you going to report that information? Plan, schedule, track tasks, describe and organize the necessary activities. This is basic project management stuff. Testing is a part of a project, and the test manager should be able to manage it as if they were managing a project, because of course they are. That also includes being able to select, acquire, and assign the right resources in terms of hardware and software and networks and labs and all that good material. And of course, select, organize, and lead the testing team. Test manager is a leader of a team and should behave as such and grow the skills of their team. Now, organizing communication between the members of the test team and other within the team and with other stakeholders, and this is really critical. We see a lot of clients kind of run into some difficulties here. This can be a very challenging thing, and getting that communication right is really critical. So, you know, this is something that we would expect a lot of people to walk away from the advanced test management course and how we're having self-studied and achieved the certificate, really improving their ability to organize communications. And part of that also is being able to justify decisions and provide adequate reporting information. And we should be able, as test managers, to walk into a project status meeting objectively and fairly, but firmly, present our findings and in a way that is supportive of the project and the team and their goals, but also it provides a good independent assessment of quality. So the advanced test manager exams and the courses will focus on these main concepts. Now, if you're an advanced test analyst, you should be able to implement the strategy with your primary focus being on business domains and requirements. What is the business problem that's being solved? You should be able to analyze a system, understanding what quality means to the users, and make sure that the results of that analysis, risk analysis, requirements analysis, design analysis, and so forth, influence the testing. In other words, you're going to select your test basis, the information available to you, view it through the lens of quality from the user's perspective, and design a set of tests that can address that. You should be able to participate in requirements reviews and say, okay, I think that these requirements are good or not good, and here's what the problems are. Of course, you should be able to prepare and execute adequate testing and report progress to the test manager and other people in the team. Here's where we are, here's where we stand. Evidence and data to support your evaluations. You should be able to say, these are my conclusions, and this is why I feel that way. It's not just proof